All right, we will go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Tom Lyons, and I'll be bringing you through this webinar today on Mitel Connect user training, specifically how to use the Google Chrome browser extension. Um, our agenda will be pretty quick today. We're going to talk a little bit about Inflow and what we do here, and then we'll get right into the overview for the Connect for Chrome application. So a little bit about Inflow. Who are we? What do we do? Inflow is a leading consulting and services company enabling digital transformation through cloud customer engagement technologies. We have over 70 employees of sales, advisors, technical, and customer support. So we run the full gamut here. And we serve over 1,000 customers in the mid-market and global enterprise level across most verticals. We operate with integrity, transparency, urgency, and agility. We want to make sure that we get you all the information that you need and then some for your voice application to make sure it's going to work exactly the way that your business requires. And we offer full end-to-end capabilities in UCaaS, CCaaS, WFM, WFO, analytics, and many other customer engagement services. Here's a small snippet of some of the customers that we do currently support, and a few of our technology partners as well. So regardless of the voice application and trend that you want to set with your business, Inflow can help. As always, at the end of this webinar, there is a Q&A box in your Zoom application that you can use to ask questions. At the end of the webinar, I will take a look at those and answer any questions that do come up. And if there is anything that I cannot answer directly, I will make sure to get your contact information and get you an answer before the end of the day. And so with that, let's go ahead and get started here. So what I've done here is I've just popped up my Google Chrome application here onto the screen, which is going to be right on a page here that says Mitel Connect. This is actually the application or the extension for Chrome that we're going to use for this. Now, there's a couple that are on the Google Chrome Web Store, and I want to go through that really quick here. There is a MyCloud Connect for Chrome as well as a Mitel Connect for Chrome. The Mitel Connect for Chrome, at least in the past, has worked with on-premise systems. In our recent testing, it does appear that both of these applications may be working cloud only at this time. I wanted to make sure that people on the webinar did understand that as we get into this piece. It may just require a server update in order to get the Chrome application to work. Now on this page here, you'll see that I currently actually have the extension installed because the button does say remove from Chrome rather than add to Chrome. All you would have to do is hit add to Chrome here, and then in your extension list up here, you just want to make sure that you can click on Mitel Connect, and to make it a little bit easier to see, you can pin it to your extension tab as well, so it's always visible, which is going to be this blue phone icon here that's called Mitel. Now, when I click on this, it's going to bring me into my browser. Into the client so that I can make and receive calls and do other functions within the Connect client itself. So this functions essentially like a Connect client application, but built into your browser. So what's nice for this is if you need to go out on the road, you're bringing your laptop, you don't have the Connect application installed, you can use this browser extension in lieu of that in order to manipulate your calls, activate your soft phone, and do whatever you need to do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the different functions. It is very similar to the Connect client. So if you're used to that, this is all going to make a lot of sense. But we're going to go through the different options that we have with manipulating calls, taking a look at your voicemails and history and your contacts, as well as the settings that are involved. So first things first, you can see that I am currently set to available, and I am on a soft phone here. If I click on this drop down here, I can change my availability state just like I could in the Connect client. So you have the same settings that are available in the Connect client are available here. And we have our name or phone number field that we can type in to actually start a call. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type in a phone number and start a call here. And start that here. It'll be just a second. All right, and now we have a connected call. So this is going to be how a call will look in this application. It's going to look very, very similar to what you're used to in the Connect client. So we have our connected call here. We can see how long the call has been on. It's been on for about 20 seconds now. And all of your options for this call are actually going to be at the bottom now. It's actually a very convenient way to create these calls. Also note that my My icon has changed to orange to show that I'm on the phone. So your presence still works the same way that it would through the regular client. On this call, we have a few different options that we can use in order to manipulate it. So the first one here would be this add button. This is going to be if you wanted to create a conference between this call and another caller. So if I hit this add button, it's going to ask for a contact to add to the call. And you can enter an internal name, so somebody within your organization, an internal extension, or a phone number into this field. And when you do this, just go ahead and put you in there. Oh, come on. There we go. It would not take my click. You'll notice that there are two different options here that you can use to start this conference. We have the ability to do a blind conference, which is going to very simply call this user, add them to the line immediately, and if they pick up, they'll be a part of the conference call. So if they're expecting your call, or if you just need to get somebody on the line, this is the quickest way to do it. This is just going to bring them in with the person that you're speaking with. The other option is your consult, the consult for the conference. And the consult is going to allow you to place your call on hold, call the person you'd like to conference in, and see if they're available for the conference. It's going to then allow you to choose whether or not that person is available through the client. Keep in mind, if you do use this feature, if you do hit no, the client actually does bring you right back to the person that you were talking to and takes them off hold. So make sure that you are aware of that and that you are ready to speak to the customer as soon as you hit that no button. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this, and we'll talk about the transfer button as well. It's going to work very, very similar. So when I hit the transfer button here, which is going to be just this little right arrow here, it's just going to ask me again for a name, extension, or phone number. Go ahead and click that in. And just like before, you have the blind transfer and the consult transfer options. So it works much the same way. You're just not entering a third participant into your call. You're just either transferring the call, which in the case of a blind transfer, as soon as you hit that button, you are done with the call. That call is disconnected from you. It is en route to the other person. Whereas the consult will allow you to call the person you want to transfer to, make sure they're available. And if they aren't, it'll bring you right back to that person, bring them off hold so that you can talk to them. Now, a couple other options here. This merge button, if we have multiple calls going, which would appear just under this one, if I had a second call going through here, I can actually use that merge feature to bring everybody in and conference the call, just like I would if I use the add button. So if I do get two calls going at the same time, that's another way to merge through and create a conference. We'll hit move at the end here. Hold, very simple. When I hit this is going to place the customer on hold. They would hear any hold messaging. And you'll see here when I do that, there's a little phone button with a pause feature that you can see here. Now, when I take them off hold, it's going to return to the normal duration. If I put them back on hold, it's going to start that hold timer again. So this is very, very nice way to see how long somebody's been on hold to make sure that you haven't forgotten about somebody. Nice way to do that. Now, you also have a dial pad. So if you're calling into your internet service provider, for example, and you need to navigate menus, this is how you would do so. So you could hit 1 for internet support or anything of that nature, nice and easy. And then finally, you have a hang up button here. In addition to all of these, one button that used to be in the main row but is actually up here now is the mute button. If I click this mute button, it's going to highlight in orange. And at this point, you can hear the other caller, but they can't hear you. It just deactivates your microphone. So that's one minor difference between this and the Connect client. They have moved the mute button up to the top. Other than that, it works very much the same. And then finally, let's talk about the move button. The move button is a specialized button, and this is going to depend on whether or not your system is using the mobility client. What this allows you to do is this allows you to seamlessly move your phone call from your desktop app, or in this case, the Chrome application, to your cell phone that would have the mobility client on it. And the mobility client also has the ability to transfer this back to the desk phone. So this is a nice, useful tool if you're getting a call, but you need to leave the office and you need to make sure that you can keep that call going. You can use this to move to your cell phone on the fly. take that call and then walk out the door. If you then walk back in the door, you can do the same thing on the mobility client in order to bring it back through. This will be highly dependent on the way that your organization is set up and if they're using mobility in general. So this would be a good question for your system administrator. Now that concludes how to actually manipulate active calls. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hang up the call here. When I do, it's just going to get rid of that call and it's going to act as though it wants me to make or receive another call. There are other options that are available in this application. Specifically here, we're going to go through the voicemails, your call history, and your contacts list. So first thing we'll look at is voicemails. And you'll see here I have quite a few that are on this piece here, including apparently a bunch of 0-second voicemails that I left myself, which is interesting. But this will allow you to see any voicemails that are in the system. Now, if I click on one, let's click on one that actually has information on it. You'll notice that it does change to a spot where I can play this. And it'll tell me the duration in seconds, and I can tell that there is audio on this call. If I were to hit this, it would play the voicemail through my headset because I'm currently using a soft phone. If you're using a desk phone, it will then actually play through your desk phone so that you can hear the message there. Now, if you want to save this message, you can do this here. This will just place it in the save folder. This is handy if your organization uses any pruning rules for voicemail. Will allow you to keep those voicemails even if you're getting on read and or unheard or old voicemails getting purged. This will give you a way to keep those. You also have the ability to delete it here. Now, a voicemail that's been listened to will be in normal font. You'll notice that these are all bolded. So these have not been listened to. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this real quick. And just kind of let it go. And it should change to normal font when it's done here. So I'll just give this just a second here. And for anybody curious, this is just apparently a dead air voicemail. So I'm not sure where this one came from. And it should be ending up here. And so you'll notice here, now that that has been listened to, the font is no longer bold. And there is no orange dot next to it. It just appears with normal font. So you can see here that that this is a voicemail that we have listened to here. Now, in this client, there is no way to mark these as unheard anymore. So you can't rebold these like you can in the Connect client. That is one slight limitation. However, you can still look at all your voicemails, anything that's unheard. So this will just show anything that's unheard. And then anything that's saved will show up here as well. So you will be able to do all of those functions from the Mitel Connect client for Chrome. The next option here is going to be your call history, which is going to be the little clock here to the right of the voicemails. This is going to show your last 100 made, received, or missed calls. So in here, you can see I've got quite a few different calls that are in here. Whoever this was really wanted to get a hold of me, apparently. And in here, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at, up and to the right is an outgoing call. Down and to the left is an incoming call. And then this little red line with a bounce is an incoming call that I did not answer. And as such was a missed call. So that red line is missed. In this client, it shows anything, including calls with a voicemail, as a missed call if you did not pick them up. So you can see these all in here. If you want more information on a specific call, you can click into one. Or I'm sorry, you actually can't in this client. I thought you could, but you can actually call the user back right off of this line. So all you have to do is hit the dial button on the right, and this call would go back out to this 503 number that I have highlighted. Now, if you want to just look at your missed calls, you can use the missed tab as well, so you can see all the missed calls that are on this account as well. So you can very easily see who's been calling you and determine if you want to give them a call back. So you can use that in conjunction with your voicemail to make sure that you're calling back anybody that needs it. Finally, we have our contacts tab. And in particular, we have a favorites tab here. So the favorites tab is going to allow you to put in different users into the system or from your internal system and set them up as a favorite so that you can see them very easily, see their status. So you can see each one of these users is currently available. And then you can call them very easily as well. If I wanted to add another user, all I have to do is search for that user in the top. So in this case, I'd look for Chris Mitchell, and then that little blue star, all you have to do is click on it. That adds them as a favorite, and that puts their information in. If I wanted to add Chris's mobile as well, I could do that as well for an individual line so that I could easily call Chris there also. So super simple to do. Other ways you can do, you can look for specific people is you can just type in their information in the top, and then you can find them and call them that way as well. So you have both ways. You can use a favorites list to manage a list of people that you talk to frequently, or you can just type in names and numbers up here as you see fit. And that is the functionality of the Mitel Connect for Chrome application. It is a fairly lightweight application. Doesn't have all the same features as the Connect client, but does have most of the features that matter. Now there is also a settings tab here, and when we click into the settings tab, there's not a whole lot to go with this particular piece. But you can change your call routing, specifically where your calls are going to go. Which you can see I'm currently set to soft phone. If you did have a desk phone, you would have the ability to select that here as well. And you can also set up an external assignment number here to go to your cell phone, assuming that your organization does allow you to have the permission to do so. One other thing that the application can do, if you have a desk phone, it will give you a ring sound notification through the browser, which will allow you to actually hear those incoming calls in addition to your phone ringing, which can help you make sure that you're there and able to receive your calls. There's also a setting tab here. There's a web dialer option. This actually allows the Connect for Chrome application to link up with any phone numbers that you find on Google or any other websites, and you can use that to seamlessly dial with the Connect app, which makes your life a little bit easier if you do have to find and call a company. And then you also have the ability to sync your Google account, which is really one of the big things of this. The Google Chrome and G Suite applications do sync with the Mitel Connect for Chrome application. So if you're using G Suite, you can use that here. And then one last thing you can do, you can actually use any Google Calendar information if you do use the G Suite to sync to your phone and change your availability states depending on what your calendar shows, which may or may not be a good usage for you. What this will do is it will put you in a meeting mode if you have any meetings on your calendar, which will send your calls to voicemail. So it just depends on your usage and if that makes sense for your workflow. So with that, that's what we have today on the Mitel Connect for Chrome application. Let me go ahead and move this stuff off here. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see if we have any questions that have been answered or have been asked rather here. Does not look like we have any at the moment. So I'll give you guys just a moment to see if anything does come through. And if not, we'll talk about how to get in touch with us. Does the Chrome extension require a license? So the Chrome extension itself would connect just like the Connect client. So you would need a Connect client license on your user in order to use it. If you're using the Connect client application now, you should be able to use this. One thing to keep in mind, I noted this at the beginning of the webinar, is in my testing recently, it appears that the functionality to connect to an on-premise system is currently broken. So that is one thing to keep in mind. If you're looking to use it with your on-prem system, you may have mixed results actually logging in. All right, doesn't look like we have anything else. If anything comes up after the webinar, that's totally okay too. If you have any questions, concerns, just want to get in touch with us, you certainly can. You can give us a call at 844-446-3569. You can also send us an email at contact@inflowcommunications.com. Let us know what you need and we'll make sure that we get you the information that you need. So with that, my name is Tom Lyons. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do hope to see you on other webinars in the future. And as always, I hope you have a great day. Thanks, everybody.